So I'll be talking over some old, well, not that old, but older sparring video. So basically, this will be unscripted, and what I did here was simply sparring with hands, like boxing, but I tried to force Wing Chun concepts. So I didn't let it come naturally. I didn't look for the trapping range. That's one of my biggest concerns. I want to see if the trapping range does exist. So what I did here was actually forcing some Wing Chun, and the results weren't great, but I tried. So here we're just there's some like Tan Sao type blocks, but I'm mostly moving like like boxing stance and moving like a boxer. But I tried to see if I can get the center line right there. I got one shot with the center line, but it's still nothing significant. Here's some tons, some good defense, I thought. But this was like light sparring. This wasn't really that intense. We just wanted to test movements. That was like bobbing and weaving and boxing movement. Because I believe Wing Chun can be used, but only in specific situations where hand fighting does happen. There I ate a big punch because I didn't right there. That's some needed boxing. But I believe that the trapping range is a very short and slip, like right there. That was Wing Chun. It's a really thin space, but it can improve your overall hand fighting game for sure. I believe that mostly it works in grappling situations. For instance, clinching up, some clinching, that's a good cross, clinching up movements, and some ground fighting. There's a great Wing Chun Pilgrim, that's a great channel, and he talked about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Wing Chun. We were screwing around, this was completely friendly. But yeah, so we are proceeding forward. There are some blocks. I'm just reaching. This, as I said again, this was more forcing Wing Chun than coming naturally. Right there, I used some Wing Chun blocks, but I was forced to cover up because that will happen. There, I even attempted like a 1-inch punch type thing, like a extended jab, but that's just goofing around more than anything. Right there, I would have probably been dead or knocked out. That doesn't matter. We're doing friendly thing. Yeah, that was some attempt to Wing Chun, but I left open. That's not good. I attempted a Bong Sao right there. Yeah, and I'm completely mauled over there. Good that I have a good sparring partner. So we proceed. Yeah, we got off camera. We'll come back. Yeah, so this wasn't looking for the trapping range. This was more trying some traditional stuff. I did an uppercut there and ate a punch. But yeah, I think that it has meaning in proper combat situations. I'm talking mainly MMA because you've seen Tony Ferguson and Anderson Silva, guys like that, slipping few Wing Chun principles. And that's the thing. I believe that if you take Wing Chun principles, not rules or necessarily forms, you have to translate them. And if you use principles, there is a good chance that you can get some things out that will be meaningful and actually improve your situation. Because we've seen Tony Ferguson do it well, especially against Pettis, and Silva did it back in the day all the time. Another cross. Yeah, there's some like Wing Chun based stuff. Yeah, we're some goofing around as well. That could have been a Tan or something. There was a Bong Sao. I think 52 blocks figured out how to translate Wing Chun stuff properly. That's goofing around. Because what they do, they have that skull and bones thing, which basically is just like Quan Sao translated. Because you have to keep in mind that majority of forms are they're preserved like that, but that doesn't mean that that's how they're supposed to be used. Like a good YouTube channel, Ramsey Dewey, talked about boxing forms, you have the bag punchings and the double end bags and stuff like that, and speedball especially, where you don't punch like you do, but you have to translate that form into an actual combative situation. So yeah, we're talking and screwing around. But I'm trying to loosely keep the Wing Chun form, but not really, because you can't, you have to box, you really have to. But there are some instances and slips that you can do, like right there, goofing around, that could have been a punch. Then Bas Rutten talked about straight punches, because they're harder to see. So that could be a translation of a form, where uppercuts and straight punches that happen in boxing and parries happen, that they're basically pak saos. There are things like that, and like bong sao right there, even though it wasn't used correctly, there was a tan pak, quick tan pak, some Wing Chun blocks, but these blocks aren't that significant because they work only because I was farther away. And yeah, this again, as I said, wasn't, there's like 1 inch, 6-inch punch, try again. But this was more experimenting and to see if you could extend the life of Wing Chun in a combative situation beyond just the trapping range, and try to use some more concepts, and ends up looking kind of like Jeet Kune Do, but it's not. Like a Jeet Kune Do topic is a completely other thing. Is it a concept? Is it a martial art? You could talk a lot about that, but not now. Yeah, there was some forcing right there that didn't look good. I was open. I could have ate a shot right there. That was some kind of Wing Chun trap for sure. Yes. Okay. Covering up. You gotta revert to boxing when you don't find the center line and you have no chance of using Wing Chun. You have to revert to boxing. I ate a punch right there. Yeah, we were goofing around. This wasn't completely. It was more experimenting and then friendly, nice light sparring match. And sparring matches should be very light. That's a good feint. I don't know what that grab was. And there I've tried to force Wing Chun, and it was a good idea, and it probably would have worked if I were closer, but again, I was forcing it too much, so it didn't work. That defense kind of worked, but it's mostly like the mutual flaw of the situation from the opponent as well. There's some boxing. That's bad boxing posture though. Yeah, that's a joke. And this is basically the end. Yeah, my audio got cut off. This is the end of the video, but just some closing thoughts. So I just wanted to say the difference between mainly Wing Chun and traditional martial arts and boxing and other combat sports is the techniques. The techniques in boxing come after they're proven to work, and they come after testing it. So anything that successfully gets tested and works is what gets codified as a technique. But in Wing Chun, there are already existing forms, and then you apply them. So that's the difference. And when you do that from the forms, it's not necessarily going to work because you have to translate it to something that already exists. So that's why you can see snippets and stuff like that from traditional martial arts in MMA. It's because those happen to work. So I think that's an important distinction to make. But yeah, that's the end of the video.